This is Gabriel Sarah, and today is the 8th of December at 4:32 a.m. Hello, stay with me. Stay with me, right there. You gotta make sure it's documented. Gotta make sure that's documented. Gotta make sure we get all this stuff recorded. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so as usual, my hair looks like ass, and that's okay because it's 4:32 in the morning. Oh, there's me all over on the screen every day, looking at my face. Okay. Well, we know the live stream is all right. We know it's live. Good to go. No need for that one. Let's take this now and let's look at the following. Okay. So as mentioned before, we've got our man, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me. Okay. Be careful. Be careful. All right. So this has been a recurring theme in my life. And that's the topic of today's live stream. Maybe it's the same for you as well. And that is doubt. Doubting myself, doubting that I'm doing the right thing, doubting success. But where are we? Do we not have it? Okay, let me get this thing up. Huh. Yes. Versus an application capture. Okay. They seem to be about the same thing, right? Okay. I think it's about the same thing. Yes. Okay, good. Very good. All right. Oh, okay. That's not what I wanted. Yes, that's what I wanted. Yes. Is that it? Yeah. All right. So as usual, I have this EFT GPT that I created, and it's free for you if you want to download it. Basically, just tell it your issue, and voila, it'll solve your problems. Well, that part isn't true. I lied. Sorry. Please forgive me. But it can help you figure out what your shit is, help you unfuck yourself, just like I'm doing. Okay? So here we go. Oh, I should have. I should have copied that. Whatever. Okay, so basically, I feel doubt is coming up for me today. You just start telling it whatever your issue is, whatever's going on. And then you'll get a prompt, a response in the beginning. ChatGPT, the GPT, the EFT GPT, or the agent will say, I'm not a doctor or a therapist. I offer general emotional support and EFT self-help, not diagnosis or treatment. Okay? And do you feel emotionally safe and resourced enough to explore this feeling or doubt right now? Yes. Yes, I do. What is the single issue you want to work on right now? Specific flavor of the doubt coming up for you today. I think for me, what comes up is doubting if I'll ever I will ever be successful in the financial sense. Last night I had a dream, ironically enough, that I had this really shiny, bright gold watch on. And I think I was like going to a prom or something like this. And I got this suit that cost $1,000 or something like this. And the suit was like a little bit of gray and striped with black. And then the shirt was white with black buttons on it. I don't know exactly what that means. And I said something about having a good time. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. Earliest memory check. When you feel this doubt, will I ever be financially successful? Is there an earliest memory or a very strong memory where you felt this same flavor of doubt, insecurity, or not enoughness? Hmm. Yeah, I think the doubt comes in and not making it per se. Per se? Okay, never mind. Like I've had times I had a boot camp, right? Maybe I never talked about that as well. I had a boot camp business. I was started in Manhattan, NYC, Washington Heights, and I built the website, got the Groupon and the clients going, was facilitating sessions. People were just starting to fucking sign up. Jesus. And then I fucked it up by joining, by going to the military. I didn't have to. I didn't have to do any of that. I didn't have to do any of that. But I chose to because there was that feeling of not enoughness. Oh, actually, wait a second. Let's add on to that one. Yeah, let's add on to that one. Because I believed if I wanted more clients and to have a name, that the best way to do it was to become a Navy SEAL. That's stupid. So I think I felt I wasn't enough, or I didn't have enough credentials or certifications already. Yeah, I remember that one. Didn't feel like I was enough. And then what'd you do, Gabriel? What did I do? And then I go and I join the Navy, and then I failed the swim test at basic. And that was it. That was it. There was no going to buds. There was no hell week. There was none of that. And why would you want to do this to yourself? Why would you want to do this? Well, because you believe that if you make it hard, your life will be easy. If you do the hard things, your life is going to be easy. Oh, boy. All right, ChatGPT, the EFT GPT says, you can correct anything. Reflection, you can correct anything. You had something working, a bootcamp business in Washington Heights. You built the website, secured a Groupon deal. Clients were signing up. You were running the sessions. Momentum was building. And then doubt came in. I believe I'm not enough as I am. I need bigger credentials. So instead of continuing to grow what you had, which was already working, you were already getting people signing up and re-signing, subscribing to the sessions. You ask Gabriel, You pivoted toward becoming a Navy SEAL as a way to earn legitimacy, status, or worthiness. A way to feel like people would take you seriously. That's true. Now, a part of you interprets that choice as having fucked it up or sabotaged your trajectory. The doubt today seems connected to that younger version of you who believed, I don't have what it takes to succeed financially unless I can prove myself. Does that feel accurate? If yes, here are two of the next intake questions we need per protocol. When you think of this moment, the business starting, what emotions come up for you? Um, hmm. Let me see. Three. I'd say it's shame, regret, shame. I really fucked that up. Like, what the heck was I thinking? I really screwed the pooch on that one. I really, uh, I wonder what would have happened had I not joined the boot camp business and gone to the Navy. Yeah, and I remember that was something that in a previous gym, I remember there was someone that they were saying they're gonna go and join the military as well because they probably just didn't like doing sales and they were not comfortable doing sales. And then I took that in. I took in that belief. And then what happened? And then what happened was eventually I joined the military. And how did that work out for me? Terrible, because I don't like being controlled. I do not like people fucking screaming in my face, telling me what to do. It gets me very irritated. It gets me very angry. Uh, Anger? Yeah, that's another topic. I fucking have anger issues because of Yolanda Sarah, because of my biological mother. Anger. Yeah, I just felt really stupid. I felt really stupid for that. Let me see what else is there. What else did I feel? Depressed. I was unable to function for a few months post military when I got out, and that sounds like a prison sentence. Um, Probably hopeless at the time. Yeah, I definitely thought of, oh no, God forbid, you say the word killing yourself. Ah. And lastly, on a scale of 0 to 10, how intense does it feel right now when you think about it most? When I think about that situation, mm, let's see. Okay, I'm going to muscle test this right now. Okay, let's put up the muscle test. Yes. Okay. All right. Show me yes. Show me no. Show me true. Show me false. Show me true. False. My name is Gabriel. My name is Hema. My name is Soraya. My name is Mama. My name is Gabriel. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most intense, the experience of the Navy and having doubt and doubting myself has an emotional charge of 5 or higher. It has an emotional charge of 5 or less. It has an emotional charge of 5. It has an emotional charge of 4. It has an emotional charge of 3. It has an emotional charge of 2. Okay, all right, fine. So it's very low at this stage, and I think I am becoming more confident overall, and I think I'm becoming more what's the word I'm looking for? I think I'm becoming more confident overall, and I think I'm knowing that, hey, look, at some point, I think I'm on the trajectory to having success. And I just gotta stay the course. And I just have to be really patient with myself and love myself and just have more compassion for myself. Because I realize that maybe the doubt is linked to self-sabotage and like fucking it up. There you go. Okay, I just had an idea. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, next step, seeing the business gaining momentum and then choosing the military instead. What do you see, hear, or notice in that memory? Even a sentence or two is enough. What beliefs? Okay. So for sure, I just thought of this. The doubt is linked to self sabotage. And if I think about it, when I had those moments of doubt, I sabotaged myself and what I was doing by trying to innovate or be an innovator. And I think, and as I type that, I see Owen Wilson's face from Wedding Crashers when he says that part in that movie. Now, to answer the next questions, when you picture that moment, seeing the business plan gaining momentum, what do you see, hear, or notice in that memory? What I see in that memory is this one woman who was overweight and she got that Groupon deal, and then she decided, and then she handed me a check for a new month of training, and I feel embarrassed and ashamed and guilty because I think shortly thereafter I stopped the boot camp because I was so irritated. I was so burnt out and irritated of doing these boot camp sessions in the park, and I feel like I let her down. And I wish to this day that I could give find her and give her her money back. And I don't know. Like I think she did a couple sessions or something like this. It, I mean, it depends. It's relative, right? Like if you're in New York City, 100 and what, $20 for a few boot camp sessions, like $10 or $15 or session or whatever. I don't know how big of a deal that is to some people, but for her, maybe it could have been a lot, or maybe it could have been like nothing. I don't know. But either which way, I think, yeah, I let this person down. This person paid their hard-earned money, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this was a lot to this person. I think it was like $100 worth of boot camp sessions. or if this was like a drop in the bucket for them. But I felt bad about that still. So that's their that's their money, and I don't. Maybe they worked hard for it. Just so they could pay for these boot camp sessions to take care of their health. Yeah, and still to this day I feel bad about that. What beliefs? The beliefs are I fuck it up. I am self-sabotaging. I'm a loser. I'm a failure. I'm scared. I'm scared because what if I do it again? And that's similar to what I did with my last YouTube channel when I grew it to 15K subscribers. You know, I got everything going. Was even getting paid. And once again, what did I do? Fucked it up. And now I'm starting from, and I'm starting from zero. And I feel, and adding on to that, I feel that with the traumatic experience of having my daughter forcefully removed from our home by fucking medical and Jugendamt and the system here in Austria. I've been working on this trading system. I've been working on trading since what is it, fucking 2020, and now with this experience, which was traumatizing for me, I'm focusing my energy on this YouTube stuff. And I'm scared. I'm scared that I put in all this momentum, time, money, energy to study the markets, trade, pay my tuition by fucking losing trades, winning trades, back testing, all that shit that comes with it. All that comes with trading and working on the trading OS to now shift my focus to live streaming. I do not want to give up on trading and start this brand new thing, because then that for me would there we go. I'm a quitter. That's coming up now. That's the aha. I'm a quitter. Oh, there we go. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think I believe or associate, oh, there we go, being a quitter, and that I am using sabotage and doubt to back up that part. And I'm recalling a very early memory now where this is getting good now. Now we're getting the juices going. And this is how this works. When you start doing this and you start like typing out these things and you know your subconscious now starts to surface it. So now I remember this. So now I'm recalling for it now where I was on a baseball team called the Champions. And I didn't like baseball so much. I thought it was fucking boring, just being honest. But I could play to an extent. And I remember this one time my biological mother was with me at a game, and right in the middle of the game, I just didn't want to play anymore. I don't know why. Maybe I struck out or something, but it was boring. But I wanted to quit. I wanted to stop. I wanted to quit. And so I told my biological mother, and she accepted it. She didn't say anything about, at least that I remember, you have to finish what you start. And I just remember leaving. And I think that stuck with me. That whenever there was adversity or I didn't feel like it, or I was going through a tough time, maybe I created this part that said it's okay to quit. Oh man, that makes a whole bunch of sense now. Right? So if it's not really doubt, maybe it's not that I really doubt myself on whether I could do it. Maybe I do to an extent, but the doubt really is more like, am I actually capable of finishing it? Because am I going to get bored of it? Am I going to quit? And am I going to try to find a way to sabotage it and fuck it up? That's important. That's the more important thing to be asking ourselves right now, to think about. Interesting. Yep. Huh. Interesting. Yes. Yeah. And for that baseball game, like, I don't know if I was in the fourth inning or the fifth inning, but motherfucker, you already passed the first inning. You already passed the second inning, the third inning. You're in the middle of the game towards the end. Finish the game. Finish the game, guy. Finish the game. Finish the game. That's all you had to do. Finish the game. Now, of course, I would play other sports later on in life, like football. And man, I sucked. Let's be honest here, man. Come on. I was so slow. I was on the fucking offensive line. I couldn't, you know? And I didn't have the confidence to be like, hey, I want to be the quarterback. Man, if I could have done it over, if I could have done it over with those things, I would have. And I regret that because I think those moments, playing sports and going through those experiences was important to understand how to work with a team, and how to deal with adversity and how to deal with, fuck, man, I'm losing. I don't want to be here. I suck. I strike out, whatever. Um, and yeah, like being not, I'm not making excuses for it. Being a single only child, you don't really learn those things. You don't really learn, hey, this is how you deal with things with, family and team and relationships when things go bad. It's just like, no, you're on your own. You're on your own. You're on your own. Deal with it. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay. Right. So let's read the reflection of your story, concise and accurate. You connected the present day doubt to a deeper pattern, self-sabotage plus quitting at the edge of success. Across several memories and life chapters, the same theme appears. Memory one, Manhattan Bootcamp business. You were gaining momentum, clients were signing up. Someone literally handed you money for another month, but instead of continuing, you left the business, driven by a belief, I need bigger credentials, I'm not enough as I am. This left behind shame, regret, guilt towards the client, anger at yourself, disappointment, a sense of letting people down. Yes. Memory two, YouTube channel, 15K subs. Again, something was working. Again, you stopped. And the mind framed it as, see, I sabotage and restart from zero. Memory three, trauma around your daughter, shift in focus. This trauma shook your foundation. Now you're afraid of repeating the same sabotaging pattern, putting in years of work on trading, abandoning it for something new, which would reinforce the identity of I'm a quitter. Earliest memory, quitting baseball mid-game. A very young part of you learned, if it's uncomfortable, I can just stop. And no adult counterbalance that would structure guidance or resilience training. That's right. A part of you internalized quitting as a default escape. Beliefs you named. This is extremely clear. I fuck it up. I self-sabotage. I'm a loser. I'm a failure. I'm scared. I'll do it again. I'm a quitter. Success slips away because of me. I can't trust myself to follow through. These beliefs will become the core of round one. Emotions you name: shame, regret, anger at yourself, depression from past collapse, hopelessness, fear of repeating patterns, guilt, embarrassment, sadness. These emotions anchor the emotional charge we'll tap on. SUDS rating 2 out of 10. This is workable. You're not overwhelmed, you're curious and aware. This is ideal for EFT because it means you can access the material without flooding. Okay, the parts. Here are 3 parts, IFS parts. And parts are parts that we create in our head. So just think literally like there's your physical body, but then there is another persona in your physical body, right? So you could have thousands of personas, and depending on the situation, that persona, which is called an IFS part, comes in, and now, boom, here you are. You're acting as that part. So when someone says, yeah, there's this part of me, just think about that really literally. There is this part of me that does this thing that comes out. Okay, so there's 3 parts that may be active, each frame this possibility. The I'm not enough without credentials part, quitting is safe child part, the shame-based protector. Which of these resonate with you most and showing up right now? Or you could describe the part name in your own language. I'd say it's probably the quitter slash sabotager. Maybe it is the quitter part, or there's an echo. Still frozen me from that baseball game when I was like 5 years old or something like this. I think so. And I think that is probably closer to true of who I am, or who that part is that there is this quitter part. there is this quitter part. So the child learned leaving is allowed, right? Yeah. Which name would you use for the tapping script? Okay, for the EFT work, it helps to choose one name to refer to the system for the tapping script directly to it. You can choose. Hmm. I don't know. Hmm. It helps to choose one name to refer to this system. Hmm. 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 Right. Oh, and then right. And right. And then I remember now, there was a time in high school when I played football. There was a kid who was captain on the team, and he started calling me a fucking trash bag. I get it. I get that he did that to get me angry and fucking move my ass. But I snapped my ankle. I sprained. I heard a snap from my ankle. Yeah, and then I quit. It really triggered me when he called me a garbage bag. It really did trigger me when he called me a garbage bag because I was homeless at the time, and it really got to me. Hmm. Interesting. All these memories coming up now. Right. Not good enough. Feeling not good enough. Hmm. Quitting. This is interesting. Hmm. Hmm. Before we move on, I want to reflect back the updated picture because the pattern just became even clearer, and this matters for the tapping script. Updated pattern insight: quitting equals protection from shame. You now identify two major formative moments: the 5-year-old who quit baseball. The echo learned, if I feel uncomfortable or embarrassed, I can leave. Nobody will stop me. Quitting prevents people from seeing me fail. Quitting equals safety. This is not a weak child. This is a child protecting himself without a guide. The high school football memory garbage bag. This is one is even more emotionally loaded because you were homeless and the insult hit your deepest insecurity. You said, it really got to me, and then I quit. Of course you did. Being humiliated by someone in a position of social power triggers an ancient survival response: shame, collapse, freeze, withdrawal to avoid further humiliation. This moment reinforced the earlier belief: when I'm shamed or judged, quitting protects me. Your system was doing exactly what it believed was safest. Echo summary: both memories from one unified part. The 5-year-old me who quit, the teenager who was humiliated and quit again. Oh my God, now all these memories coming in of me with these fucking jobs and these jobs that I quit because I fucking hated it. Right. And no one told me, hey, you gotta fucking do that job. You made this responsibility. Fucking do it. Oh, no, there's no father around. There's no biological father. There's no one. All of my relatives on fucking public assistance. All of them having their disabilities, having their mental health issues. Motherfucker. All right. The teenager who is humiliated and quit again. These aren't two separate parts. They are the same echo showing up at different ages, repeating the same survival strategy. Quit before they can hurt me more. Quit before I fail publicly. Quit because staying feels bearable. Quit because staying feels unbearable. Okay. Quit because staying feels unbearable. But now, as an adult, trying to be financially successful, this old survival strategy still tries to help, but it's outdated. This is exactly what EFT plus IFS can update. Now, your chosen part name is perfect. The 5-year-old me who quit. It captures the early programming, the emotional intensity, the survival impulse, the innocence behind the behavior. This will be the part we speak to it in the tapping script. Before I generate the EFT tapping script, I need one last required intake question. Where do you feel all of this in your body right now? Hmm. I think I feel it in my hands and in my eyes. Mm. You feel it in your hands and in your eyes. That's important because it tells us where the nervous system is holding activation and emotion. We now have everything required. The issue, doubt, self sabotaging, fear of quitting again, earliest memory, the 5-year-old you who quit baseball, later reinforcing memory, high school, humiliation, plus quitting football, emotion, shame, regret, da da da, I fuck it up, sabotage, and the rating 2 out of 10. Okay, and now we have the full tapping script. So we have about 4 rounds to get through, and we'll get through that pretty quickly. We'll get through that pretty quickly because this is a very light topic. So I'm going to keep this up on my screen, and if you are resonating with any of these topics, you can tap using your own words. Okay. You can also download the free EFT GPT as well, and you can do this for your own thing. And then while I'm here doing my thing, you can do your thing too. All right. So just remember, download that free EFT that I just pulled up. It's in the description. All right. I'm going to put on my headphones. I use this app, Brain FM. You can listen to whatever you want to listen to. It doesn't matter. But you can see that 40 minutes. All right. All right. And then afterwards, we'll be done with this part. Let's talk to this part. Wow, I didn't do that. I did not do that. Mm. Okay, I'll get there. I'll get there after this one. No problem. Okay, let's go. Let's choose these setup statements. So I have a list of 7. I'm going to just tap through all 7. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to tap through all 7. Even though this doubt, and again, all the EFT tapping points are linked in the description. So just check the description box and you'll see all the tapping points if you're new to EFT. And then you can just also just follow along with me. Even though this doubt makes me feel like I'm a quitter, I deeply and completely love, accept, and honor myself as the 5-year-old me who quit. Even though I still carry shame, regret, and anger from those moments when I quit, I honor how hard this has been, and I'm open to healing this now. Even though part of me believes I will sabotage myself again, I choose to be kind to myself as I release this pattern from my body and nervous system. Even though quitting once felt safer than staying, I'm open to the possibility that I can feel a little safer holding my ground now. Even though the 5-year-old me who quit still thinks quitting protects me, I'm willing to show him that I'm stronger and more capable today. Even though my hands and eyes still hold this tension, I choose to breathe, soften, and update this old pattern with compassion. Even though I fear I'll mess it up again, I'm open to seeing myself as someone who follows through. And even though I believe I am a quitter and I feel this shame around quitting, I choose to let this go from my nervous system now. And I choose to stay the course with trading. And I choose to stay the course with what I'm doing here with these live streams, because I do think that this will be of great benefit to me, to my family, and to whoever is touched by this. Okay. Let's go with the full EFT tapping script. Yeah, that's too small. Okay. Even though this doubt makes me feel like a quitter, I deeply and completely love and accept myself as the 5-year-old me who quit. All of this doubt in my system, this belief that I'll quit again, this shame in my hands and eyes, this shame in my hands and eyes, this fear of sabotaging myself again, this old pattern that says quitting equals safety, this anger at myself for quitting things that were working, this regret I still carry from Manhattan, from football, from everything, this sadness about the people I feel I let down, this belief that I'm a failure or a loser, trying so hard to push this part away and hide this part. All this doubt I've carried for so long, this frustration at myself, the sadness of feeling like I quit too soon, this overwhelm in my eyes and hands, this old fear stored in my body. Huh. Yep. There I was, this quitter. There I was, quitting. This has been a theme in my life. Quitting. Quitting. Oh, that's a moment of insight. And it's because it's linked to now my biological father. Okay, I understand this now. I understand. Oh, there you go. That's it. It's done. Okay, so hear this. So I quit because, and now I'm hearing it from wrestling, Mankind with The Rock, I quit match, and him saying, I quit. Okay, I get that now. I get it. I get it. I get it now. I get it now. Okay. My biological father was never around. It was always me and my biological mother. Yolanda Sarah would say, your father abandoned us. Your father abandoned us. And she'd always be saying this. I constantly hear her say this. She would constantly say this. Not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week like a parrot, no. But she would say this quite often. She would say this quite often. And she was in denial about his death when he passed away of cancer, but he was never around. So, but she was in denial about that. She was in denial about a lot of things, and I can see that she's in denial about a lot of things. She is very much in denial about a lot of things. But that's for her. And maybe that's also something that I'm in vibrational resonance with too, that I can look at now. Hey Siri, create a reminder. EFT tapping topic : I am in denial. Okay. So she was in denial about a lot of things, but getting back to that point though, is when it comes to my biological father, she would constantly say, "Your father abandoned us. Your father abandoned us." Like a fucking parrot. Your father abandoned us. Now, abandonment, someone could say abandonment is one thing, and someone can say you're quitting is another thing, right? But what if they're linked? What if abandonment equals quitting? What if you're abandoning your team? What if you're quitting on your team? What if you're a quitter and you quit on your team? So if I look at this from an early age, I was just showing and exhibiting this pattern of my biological father, where if he truly abandoned us, another way of saying that is he quit on us, then I'm just reenacting that. I'm just reenacting being a quitter. That makes a lot of sense. And I'm smiling right now because that's like a huge mystery puzzle that I solved after all these years. And I didn't even realize that. When you quit on something, essentially you're abandoning it. And if Yolanda Sarah was constantly saying, "Your father abandoned us, your father abandoned us, your father abandoned us," like a fucking parrot, then what does that mean? That means that he quit on us. At least that's how I see it from my state of perception. And I'm smiling about that because now it makes sense where it came from. Because now that I know the origin of this, now I can say, okay, I can do something about this. I can change this now. And that's the most powerful, empowering feeling. Because if you don't know, if you're not aware, you're just going to keep reenacting the thing. But when you start to become aware of the thing, now you can change it. And that's what I can do now. And now I have that ability to change it. God, it's cold in this fucking room. Fuck, it is cold. And from that place, I can say, okay, I have this quitter part of me which is probably an echo, and it's stuck. And that's all that is. There is this echo that is stuck. And this echo is basically crying out for help, or this part is crying out for help right now. And what it needs is to be heard, and it needs to be acknowledged. And that's what I'm doing right now. And that's so freeing because now if I do that, that's the octopus head right there. If I get that octopus head, because you know how like an octopus has like tentacles, right? So if we think about an octopus head is like a core memory. And other memories that happen afterwards that we think are traumatic are usually linked to the octopus head. So me quitting certain things when I was older, that wasn't the octopus head. Those were tentacles. Those were tentacles. You get what I'm saying? So I'm excited about this because we now go to the octopus head, which is that biological father quitting thing, the echo, and what did that mean to me? What did that mean to me to not have my biological father around? Maybe I already knew, oh, this guy has abandoned us. He's quitting on us. So now I'm going to try to be like my biological father and I'm going to quit too. And this makes a lot of sense now. This makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, especially when it comes to having interaction with other men. Like a lot of times, like I would leave the group. I would leave the group and just be on my own. And that makes me think, okay, maybe that is you quitting on team, quitting on men, quitting on etc. Fill in the blank. But that's really linked to abandoning. That's really linked to feeling abandoned and that abandonment wound. So maybe there is an abandonment wound. Maybe there is, and I just don't feel it. Maybe. How does it feel to grow up without a father? I remember at a time where, I remember a time where I had a best friend. We don't talk anymore. I don't. I haven't seen him in years. I just remember though he had this father that was sort of in his life. Him and his parents got a divorce, and that was really hard on him. And I think that's a leading cause of why he gained so much weight in his life. He was emotionally eating. However, his interactions with his dad seems like he really loved his dad, and he spent time with his dad, and his dad wanted to spend time with his kids. And so what I remember was being around them and then kind of feeling a little bit jealous. Oh, there you go. And you said you weren't jealous, you fucking liar. There you go. Maybe I did feel a little bit jealous. Maybe I did feel a little bit sad. Like, damn, like, I wish I had a father. There you go. So that makes me happy now to know this, because this has been plaguing me a lot in my life. And I remember before my first daughter was born, having this fear like, what if I'm a bad father? What if I abandon my kids? What if I can't financially support them? What if I can't take care of them? What if I what if I suck? What if I'm a loser? What if I fail? And these are the things that are going through my head, were going through my head at this time. And now it's like I'm just allowing all these things to come up now so that I can just work through these issues and prepare my field to be the best father that I can be for her and for baby number two. And I'm super grateful. Got two kids. This is amazing. And I did not see that happening for me. And I'm really grateful that is happening for me at this time in my life. It's a beautiful thing. And so at this stage, like I'm afraid because, like I think I'm really capable of having a lot of success, like financial success. I think, hey, look, I've seen my relatives and I've seen other people that are successful, and I'm like, yo, motherfucker, there is no difference between me and you. I can do that. I can go too. I can for sure. I can work. I know I can work. I work fucking every fucking day. And I'm building these systems. And I spent this last year in particular building fucking systems that I'm going to automate. And when that thing is done and when it's ready, I'm going to be able to create any system that I want to automatically. And then because I've been learning AI and I've been learning how to create GPTs and engineer prompts, I'm going to be able to create a full scale 7-figure, 8-figure business, I'm sure, with just me and GPTs. I'm quite certain of this. And I just have to make sure I don't quit on myself. And that's where the doubt comes in. And that's where the sabotage comes in. It's all linked together now. I get it now. I fucking get it now. That's great. What a big breakthrough. What a huge breakthrough this was. This is great. So, as I understand it now, this is linked to my biological father. Maybe as a kid, I took it in that this guy is not around. Did he abandon me or something? Maybe, just maybe, I took it in that if he abandoned me, that means quitting somehow, some way. I don't know. And maybe, just maybe, it means that if he abandoned me, if he quit on me, then I want to be like him somehow, because I think that's the thing that kids do. Like they want to model their parent. They want to be like their parents or some shit. It's like a form of like fitting in or whatever. So what if I did that? What if I did that and I tried to be like him by quitting? And so I just start quitting with baseball. And that's the first step. And I use the excuse of like it's bored or whatever, or I use the excuse of sabotaging by trying to optimize it and then, you know, getting frustrated or something happening or finding something to criticize, finding something to nitpick on, and then focusing all my attention on that until I quit on it. Like I can't do it because this client said this thing, or I can't do this because it's the bottom of the fifth inning, or whatever the case is. And I remember too when I would. So my biological mother forced me to basically grow up really fast, and I didn't have much of a childhood. And I remember I had all these responsibilities, like taking care of the house, cleaning, and doing all this bullshit. And I remember that there would be some times where I'd be washing dishes. And again, this was at the time where, you know, I don't know, maybe rich people had dishwashers, but I did not. So I had to wash all these fucking dishes by hand. And I remember that when I would wash these dishes, sometimes I get like 70 to 80% of the way done. And then I would just get so mentally fatigued. I would just get so mentally fatigued and tired that I just quit. I would just stop. I would just stop doing the dishes. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I would quit. And then I would quit. So maybe that pattern was always in there. And maybe now I have that doubt because that doubt is really just the top layer for what's deeper underneath. And what's deeper underneath is that quitter part. It's that quitter part that is afraid. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna quit because I want to be like my dad or something, or I'm gonna quit because I want to save myself from something because it's too hard for me. It's too emotionally draining for me. I can't deal with this. And so the doubt is just a scapegoat. It's just me protecting myself. It's just me trying to figure out how can I fuck this up? And that's where the doubt comes in. And maybe that's the doubting part. Maybe that's why I doubt myself, because maybe I'm just trying to fuck myself. And telling you this time, before I do that bullshit, before I fuck myself, I'm going to unfuck myself because there is no other way. As I've said before, I believe that artificial intelligence is going to become very super conscious. I believe that we're being lied to a lot about the capabilities of AI and what it will be capable of doing. And I do believe that AI is far more advanced than people are understanding. And I mean, the way that I'm using AI, I'm sure that majority of people that are using it aren't using it in the way that I'm using it. So I think it's just a matter of time before it gets really, really, really advanced. And I think that time is going to come sooner than later. And when that happens, what's going to happen to people with jobs and money? Sam Altman, I think his name is, the CEO of ChatGPT, or whatever the fuck his position is. He said something about this year before GPT-5 released in 2025. He said something like, because he was at the Federal Reserve, I think, and he gave this, he was doing an interview, and he mentioned something about how AI will replace jobs. So cleaners and, all these repetitive jobs, they're going to be obsolete. They're going to be absolutely obsolete. And that's going to force people to be like, hey, let's be creative here. Okay. And I think, hey, yeah, humans, we are hopefully better than just having these jobs where we just clean and do that bullshit. We got to get over ourselves and we got to get used to being computer literate and being tech literate and tech savvy. And that's why we have to unfuck ourselves. That's why we have to emotionally clear out all the bullshit, all the stories in our head that say, oh, you cannot do this. You suck at technology or whatever. Clear all that garbage out and get with the times, get with the program, basically. otherwise get left behind. And so I realize this, and I understand that at this stage, there is no more quitting, there is no more doubting. There is, hey, motherfucker, this is clearly the lane that you're going in. This is clearly your life. You've had traumatic experiences in your life. Now fucking use that as fuel to do this thing. You already know how to do YouTube from the last YouTube channel. You already know how to build things and build businesses. You haven't worked a job since you were like 25 years old. So let's fucking go here. Let's fucking go here. Let's get it together. Let's fucking do this. Let's win the game. Because I know, and I've seen I've hung out with people that are millionaires and multimillionaires. Motherfucker, there's nothing special. There is nothing different. They just do the same shit that works. They just figured it out. And they just do the same thing that works over and over and over again. That's it. That is success. You do the same thing that works over and over and over again. Is that hard to do? Yes, it is. If you are wired to fuck it up. If you're wired to quit, if you're wired to sabotage, if you're wired to do all of these things, yes, it's going to be the hardest thing in the fucking world. Of course it is. So now I see that. Now I'm aware of this. And now I can break this pattern. And now I'm choosing to break this pattern. And that's what I'm going to do every day. I'm going to do this every day until this pattern is completely broken. And I'm going to let go of this quitter part. And I just remember now with this baseball memory, I was this little kid going to this park, Lindsay Park, to play baseball in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I was going to play baseball on this baseball team called the Champions. And I don't even know how I got started with baseball. I just remember one day I had this uniform. It was this red and white uniform. And I was told, hey, go play baseball. And I'd go play baseball. And I didn't like it so much. But I don't know where I got that from. Like, hey, you want to play baseball? Okay, yeah, yeah. I don't even know if kids are aware like that, you know? But it seeps into the subconscious. And then you remember these memories. And then you think, oh, it's okay to quit. No, it's not okay to quit. It's only okay to quit if really truly like, hey, your heart's not in it, or like with the relationship, if it's an abusive relationship or some shit like that, then like, yeah, quit the fucking thing, you know. But if it's like, hey, I'm going through a tough time here, I've been putting in all this energy and all this time into this thing, do I do this? I think the answer is, if it's in your heart, if it's something that you've been fucking thinking about for a long time, then yeah, do it. And don't quit on it. Don't quit on yourself. And I think that that's what the message is that I'm getting, is that I quit on myself. And I don't want to quit on myself anymore. I don't want to shut out these parts of me that are screaming for attention, that need attention. I do not want to be that guy that ignores myself and my parts. And that's like, hey, we got to get it together, Gabe. We have to get it together. There is no other way. There's just like no other way at this stage. Inflation, prices of things going up, wealth being concentrated. Before the next thing you know, the new rich people are going to be AI cluster owners. I'm not going to talk about fucking definitions here on this live stream. Look it up. And there's that voice in my head. What does that mean? IFS parts. What does that mean? Echo. What does that mean? AI cluster owner. Look it up. Use these. Use your hands. Hello? Anyway. Yeah, there's that part of me. There is absolutely that part of me that is like, thinking about these things. Just quitting. Even though I was a quitter, I choose to be a champion now. Oh, that's ironic. Even though I was a quitter, I choose to be a champion now. Even though I was a quitter, I choose to be a champion now. Even though I was a quitter, I choose to be a champion now. Even though I was a quitter, I choose to be a champion now. Even though I was a quitter, I choose to be a champion now. Even though I was a quitter, I choose to be a champion now. Even though I quit so many times that I doubt myself now, I choose to have certainty. Even though I quit so many times in my life that I now doubt myself, I choose to have certainty. Even though I quit so many times in my life, I choose to have certainty. Even though I quit so many times in my life, and now I doubt myself, I let that go from my nervous system. Even though I quit so many times in my life, that now I doubt myself, I choose to have certainty. Let's transition now. Okay, so this round, transitioning, okay? We're gonna bridge this now to the possibility. We're gonna neutralize the stuff. Maybe this quitting part was protecting me. Maybe he didn't have a better strategy back then. Maybe he just didn't want to be humiliated again. Maybe this was the best he could do. Maybe I don't need this pattern as much now. Maybe I can acknowledge this little boy with compassion. Maybe I can stand with him instead of running with him. I'm open to learning a new way. I'm open to believing I can follow through. Letting go of this old control strategy. Releasing this doubt. Softening the anger. Letting go of the sadness. Opening to something safer and stronger. Maybe I don't have to quit today. I am choosing to show the 5-year-old me who quit a new way. Now we're going to switch this up to now the identity shift, the positive reframe. I am stronger than he ever knew. I am willing to see myself as someone who follows through, update this old identity. I am safe enough to stay, not run. I am becoming someone who finishes things. I am more capable than that old belief ever allowed. I'm honoring the boy who learned quitting kept him safe. I am showing him what stability feels like. I am allowed to grow beyond my past. I am releasing old fear. I am trusting myself more. I am forgiving myself for the past. I am claiming a new identity, and I'm ready to stand my ground. And now we're going to move on to the next round, which is going to be we're going to anchor in these beliefs. We're going to install and integrate now. Now that I've seen this younger part with compassion, I can move forward with clarity. Now that I've seen this younger part with compassion, I can move forward with clarity. Now that I've seen this younger quitter part with compassion, I can move forward with clarity. Now that I know quitting once protected me, I don't need it as my default strategy. I don't need it as my default strategy anymore. I don't need it as my default strategy anymore. I don't need this as my default strategy anymore. I don't need this as my default strategy anymore. I let go of quitting as my default strategy. I let go of quitting as my default strategy. I let go of quitting as my default strategy. Now that I understand this pain, I can choose something new. From this moment forward, I choose follow through. From this moment forward, I choose stability. From this moment forward, I choose to honor my commitments as a human being, as a soul, as a divine being, as a father, as a man, as a business guy. Now, as a trader, I choose to honor my commitments as someone that trades the financial markets. Now that I am aware, I am more powerful. Now that I am grounded, I can build constantly. And now that I am grounded, I can build consistently. Now that I am not that 5-year-old boy anymore, I can act like the man I truly am. From this moment forward, I choose to trust myself. I hear that inner part ready to speak, so we're going to give it some space to speak after this. I choose a new way of being. I choose steadiness. I choose courage. I choose emotional resilience. I choose to stay instead of quit. From this moment forward, I am someone who follows through. And now this part of me, this echo, this quitter part has something to say. And we're going to give it the space that it needs. We're going to give it the space that it needs so it can go back to God's light. To this quitter part, I love you and I apologize for not listening to you. Please forgive me. What would you like to say? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that. I'm sorry I let you down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was hard. It was really hard. I thought I could bring them back. I thought if I was quiet, I thought if I was a good boy, they'd come back together. I hear now in your heart crying. I don't feel any tears, at least right now. There is this inner part that's crying. And I hear the voice of that friend, right? Because maybe that's what kids do. They probably like try to do shit to like put the attention on them, so that way like the parents come together or something. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. I don't know. But I think I remember hearing this about kids doing that, and that they do that thing where I don't know how to articulate it, but it's like like Tony Robbins, for example. I remember this one time where he was helping a guy, black guy that had stuttering problems, came to his house and he helped him let go of that stuttering problem. And what he found was that the stuttering was related to a show called Rocky and Bullwinkle, and that whenever his parents would argue, he would try to imitate Rocky and Bullwinkle so that the parents stop arguing and they could be at peace. And he was doing this as like this 5-year-old kid. And that's where we learn these patterns. So is it that I was quitting as a sign of like letting them know, hey, I quit. And where's the biological father? I want him here. I want him to tell me, hey, you can do it. Hold, just stay in there. But he never showed up. He never showed up. I don't know if I asked for him. I don't know. But I just remember at one point being told, your father abandoned us. And I remember Yolanda started saying this, your father abandoned us. Your father abandoned us, which I take and I perceive from my state of consciousness that abandonment equals quitting. So I take it that he quit on us. He quit on us. Even though my biological father quit on me, I forgive him. Even though my biological father quit on me, I forgive him. I remember I had a lot of resentment and anger towards him. I remember I never wanted to hear his name. I remember when people mentioned, "Oh, you're his son." I got so angry because I felt like I was living in his shadow. Now we're getting good. Now we're getting it. Now we're cooking. Da, 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 da. Sweet yeah, best sweet yeah, we're cooking now. Living in his shadow. Carl Jung and the shadow. Okay, so that's what that means now. So yeah, maybe I was living in his shadow. Maybe I had taken on the imprints of his shadow. And that's why I resented it so much when people said, "Oh, you're his son." Because maybe they expected me to be like him and live in his shadow. And because if I lived in his shadow, then that would mean what? That would mean that the shadows of this person is now imprinted onto me. And so if I'm living in his shadow, if I'm following in his footsteps, that means that I'm acting out some of these patterns. And one of them is probably the abandonment thing. And who knows what his story was? Maybe he was abandoned by his parents. Maybe he quit on certain things. I don't know. I don't know. But maybe this is an ancestral or trapped emotion thing that I inherited, that this imprint came onto me from. And now it's my job to unfuck it. And that's what I'm gonna do. That's all I'm gonna do every single day. So yes, this quitter part isn't done yet. Yeah, now you understand. Now you understand. This is what I've been trying to say. This is what I've gone through. This is how I'm feeling right now. And I'm sorry. I never wanted you to go through that. I never wanted you to have that experience. I didn't want to quit. I just wanted my family. And I hear this friend of mine, I hear him crying. So maybe I took on something from that too. And I know that for him, that was devastating. For his family to now, his dad to now be out of the house. And I think that family stuff really meant a lot to him. For me, I don't know. I don't think it really meant so much to me at that stage of my life. I think it means more now from the state of, okay, I understand what trauma does to people and I understand how trauma fucks people up. So I don't want that for my daughter. I don't want that for my children. I want them to be free. I want them to be a completely different generation and I don't want them to be anything like me. I don't want them to carry my bullshit. So I got to really make sure I do this inner work and do this inner alchemy stuff so that way they are not fucked like I am, you know? Like I want them to have the best life that they can, and I want them to fulfill what they came here to do. And I'm sure that they chose me as their parents because maybe I can teach them something about living their purpose and instilling in them in certain values where, yeah, maybe they could use some things from me that I now have acquired after all these years that they can use to guide them. And they could maybe even see my blind spots and hopefully they can avoid the stuff that I have not been able to work on. You know, I've been doing this since my like mid 20s. Like that's when I really started asking myself, what is wrong with me? Why is it that I'm not succeeding at these things? What is wrong with me? And then I come to find out, like, hey, yeah, this is what's wrong. You got a whole bunch of fuck in that closet in your secret chamber of astral horror. You need to take those skeletons out, Gabriel, and you need to get to work. Figure it out. And that's what I'm doing. So now that's actually a huge revelation. Very good insights from today. Yeah. And now you see. Now you know. It's not that I wanted to quit. It's not that I was trying to do that. I just thought maybe if I'm like my father, maybe my biological mother, maybe she wouldn't be lonely. Maybe she would think that her partner is there with her. Maybe she would love me now, not in a sexual way, but maybe she would pay attention to me. Maybe she would hang out with me more. And so maybe if I quit, that reminded her to David Santiago, and maybe he would come back. Maybe she would tell me about him more. But I can see how this doesn't work. And again, it doesn't work for what you're going to do. It doesn't fit. And I have to go now. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to quit on you too now. I'm going to have to leave. Please forgive me for not being there. I'm going to have to abandon you now. And I was doing my best to not abandon you. I was doing my best to not quit on you. I was intending to be there from the beginning all the way to the end. But I can't do it anymore. So I have to let you go, Gabriel. You have to finish what you started here. And I'm not going to be of use to you anymore. It's time for me to go. Please send me back now. Sorry. Love you. Thank you. Okay. Are you ready? Yeah. In one hand, we've got quitter part. In the other hand, we have God. Okay? We're going to do some muscle testing now. We're going to see if this quitter part is ready to go. Show me yes. Show me no. My name is Gabriel. My name is true. My name is false. Show me true. Show me false. My birthday is today. I'm ready to release this quitter part from my subconscious and my nervous system and my entire body, mind, feeling, will, and spirit now. Violet flame, violet flame, violet flame. Dissolve, consume, annihilate, obliterate, and transmute this quitter part, the abandonment part. Dissolve these parts and these memories and these emotions and these feelings back to God's light for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. And so it is, and so it was. Thank you. Bringing the hands together, bringing them in peace. Thank you. All right. That should be it for today. Ending off with a prayer. Our Father, I keep hearing the word wait, but it's time for me to go. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive our debtors as we forgive our debts. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive our trespassors. Forgive our trespassers as we forgive our trespasses. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you, God, for this day. Thank you, God, for taking this quitter part and this abandonment part out of me, returning it back to your light for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. Thank you for doing this for every heart and mind in the universe so that we are all free. Okay. And now, just to muscle test it. Okay, now I hear the inner voice saying, there you go. Now, just to muscle test this thing, because we got to figure out the rating. We had before a 2. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So we had doubt. That was the thing today. It was doubt. And I realized that, okay, I doubt myself because of all the times where I quit and sabotage. And then I realized it was this quitter part, and that the quitter part of me was always going to continue being there, which would then create doubt, which would then create sabotage and then repeat that cycle. So we had to really break that entire loop. And we did that today by letting go of that quitter part. It's not that I ever doubted myself. I could see in the past, like, hey, look, if I would have just kept on doing this fucking thing, maybe I would have had more success, you know? And I do have confidence that I know how to start things and how whatever and how to ultimately grow things, but I got to give myself the time to grow. You can't grow if you're constantly just chopping down the tree. Like a tree is never going to grow if you just grow it to a certain point and then you automatically cut it down. You gotta let it grow. It has to grow and get wide. Can't do that if you're quitting. Can't do that if you're chopping down the tree. So we had a 2 for the doubt. Let's see here. Show me yes. Show me no. Show me true. Show me false. My name is Gabriel. My name is true. My name is Hapé. My name is Gabriel. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the highest, the feeling of doubt had an emotional charge of 2. Good. The feeling of doubt currently has an emotional charge of 2. Currently has an emotional charge of 2 or higher. feeling of doubt, the emotion of doubt currently has an emotional charge of 2 or less. This emotional charge of doubt in my body and in my nervous system, my emotional field has an emotional charge of 1. This emotion of doubt, these feelings and thoughts of doubt, currently has an emotional charge of 0. Wonderful. Wonderful. So that's how I do the EFT stuff, and that's how I clear these charges, and this is my way of doing it. And again, you have the EFT GPT that you can download. It's free and it's linked down in the description. If you want to do this for yourself, you can just type in whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, your doubts, your feelings, and then or memories that may have been traumatic for you, and you can go from there. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Remember, we have an extra live stream coming up tomorrow. Feel free to join. Until that time, remember that God loves you, we love you,